So, welcome in, everyone. I'm thrilled today to have our demo extraordinaire, Chelsea, who's going to share with us this new tool. And one of the best things is she'll share also who the co founder is, because that was how I picked it initially. And then I started seeing the capabilities and I said, oh, can you come in? So, Chelsea, welcome to Next to Lead AI. We are thrilled to have you here to talk to
Oh,
us about your tool and all the capabilities. Thank you for being here.
well, thank you for the introduction. I feel so honored. I love that you have such a wonderful group of ladies uniting. So, hi, everyone. My name's Chelsea Shears. I'm an account executive here at Writer. Natalie and I just connected like 2 hours ago, and she's like, hey, can you hop on this afternoon? And I was like, you know what? For you, no problem. So,
Fast friends, fast friends.
yeah, we'll already be tight by the end of this Monday afternoon. So, I've worked at Writer for 2.5 years. Our co-founder is May Habib. If you haven't seen her, I would absolutely give her a follow. She posts like such amazing thought leadership in the world of generative AI. Writer has been around since before the launch of ChatGPT. So we have definitely seen the evolution of generative AI. I just popped her LinkedIn in
I
there. And
was just looking for it. Thank you.
yeah, so definitely give her a follow. She's so amazing and definitely one of the reasons why I came to Writer. She's so smart and just so knowledgeable about what do really the enterprise businesses need to get AI into production. It's not just, hey, here's your LLM provider or chat interface. It's like, how do we actually produce meaningful results in the enterprise? So, has anyone heard of Writer before? Okay, let's go, Bobby. Oh, Beth too.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, I'll share a little bit about Writer. And yeah, if you heard that pop out, I am Canadian. So the about is a little bit of an accent. I come by it honestly, but I'm super excited to be here and really introduce you to Writer. So just to give you a lay of the land, of course, this will be, 10, 12-minute crash course. But if you have questions, like feel free to ask away. I'm an open book. I've worked with a variety of different businesses over my 2.5 years, everywhere from financial services, healthcare, retail, consumer packaged goods, technology. So feel free to ask away. Great timing as we have some new folks hopping in. If you have not heard of Writer, we help some of the most leading organizations. And I don't do this really to toot our own horn. It's really just to say they have all the financial means necessary and also all of the talent and personnel means necessary to either partner with whoever they could desire or actually build their own generative AI solutions themselves. But they have chosen to partner with Writer because of our strong POV on what it takes to be successful in the enterprise. So we've worked with a lot of great, amazing brands. And I think just for some of that validation that we all seek from third parties sometimes. So Gartner has labeled Writer as the only full stack kind of platform in all three of their major Gartner Magic Quadrants for the third year in a row. So not only for our models, but our engineering and applications. And then Forrester did a third-party study on what do you actually see in terms of fruitfulness from your partnership with Writer, and the average ROI was 333%. So lots of cool stuff to hang on to there. Now, I'm sure you folks are coming from all different degrees, backgrounds, ways that you help your clients and that you're in your businesses themselves. So I'm just going to jump through a few of these things today, just in the essence of time, because we only have a little bit of time together. But Writer is solely designed for the enterprise. So you have seen the custom AI builds, you've seen the developers, you've seen these hyperscalers, and then you also see these kind of co-pilots and point solutions. And where Writer fits in is really this end-to-end full stack platform. We have our own proprietary LLMs that are benchmarked as best in class by Stanford Helm. We have on top of that a graph-based reg. So if you're familiar with a knowledge retrieval mechanism, we have a knowledge graph. So think of that as any sort of knowledge retrieval or grounding in an LLM, basically on steroids. How do we use that contextual layer in enterprise? On top of that, AI guardrails. So think about a way that your business, your brand voice, your style guidelines, everything that is uniquely required in terms of how your business shows up, we ground the LLMs in that information to be able to produce high quality outputs that look, sound, and feel like you or your business. And then on top of that, it's really that agent layer. So how do we actually take what you as business users need? This is what Natalie and I were talking about previously, is like us as business users. Sometimes we don't want coding, we don't want a hard install on our computer. How do we actually how do we describe what we need as a user and put that into something that is so practical for what we need? And then we have our AI studio. So think about the IT team where they want to be able to create complex agents, and our developers where they can use our agent builder to create end-to-end flows as well. So what you'll see in Writer, I'm just going to go through this one last piece here, and then we can pop into the platform. This is really what you get to start to experience and bring to life within Writer. So all those kind of pieces to the puzzle. Think of the bottom of this iceberg is really the scaffolding for what you want to build inside of your business. So we have the models, we have the security. So we are SOC 2, Type 2, GDPR, HIPAA compliance, the whole kind of governance and observability model that is required in order to be successful. On top of that, we have MCP connectors. We have entirely unique. You can build your own connector, that knowledge retrieval mechanism, and those guardrails on top of that. So it is a very familiar UI. I like to call that out as the elephant in the room because that is so uniquely designed, because that is what everybody is used to interacting with. But what goes on under the hood is really this beautiful orchestration layer across agents. I want to just quickly pause there. I see two questions in the chat, but any questions off the cuff here before I dive into the platform?
Yeah, Chelsea, can you just speak specifically to what we talked about when we first connected about the security and not having your, because I think that's what Bobby was talking about. She's got 5 companies and
Yeah.
not wanting her information out. And I think that's what you do differently. Can you talk about that before you show us real quick?
That's exactly what we do differently, Bobby. So the reason why Writer is so specific is everything, we have a 0-day data retention policy within the platform. Everything is uniquely contained to your environment. And the most beautiful part about Writer is that nothing that you put into the platform is ever used in training the models itself. So that is what is a big gravitating factor for these enterprise organizations, is that unique containment and that nothing is actually put into the models themselves. Does that answer your question, Bobby?
Yep. And where are you getting your training data from?
So we use a mix of information on the web as well as synthetic data.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I can always send you some benchmark stuff, but there's lots of stuff on our website. Okay. So let's go into the platform. Pop open here. So very familiar UI. You'll understand that chat interface here. But what is super unique is, again, as you interact with this, you can go to chat mode and agent mode, and we even have application mode. The beautiful part is that you are all a wonderful group of ladies who are sinking your teeth into generative AI. But for a lot of business users within an enterprise organization, a lot of them don't have a lot of prompting experience. And so what's really nice here is you can actually just speak into the microphone your thoughts of what you want the agent to do, and you can press this little magic button to improve your prompt. I personally love that because it's such a great way to add that momentum on in terms of your thoughts and how an LLM can actually break that down. You have so many different ways of adding that contextual layer to what you are trying to achieve. So if you want to upload certain docs from your computer, you can do that. You can attach to a knowledge graph. So for example, when you think about Goldman Sachs, they have over 210,000 knowledge graphs across their business. So think about all the different pockets of information that you can leverage. Your connectors, playbooks is something I'm going to pop into here quickly. You can add skills. So skills is like really containing that unique instruction for the LLM. Your voice profile. So Natalie, when you're speaking on LinkedIn and you want that specific voice of how you speak to your clients, you can really curate that within the platform as well. You can go into presentation mode. What I want to kind of ground you in here is behind the hood. Think of this more as a glass box and not a black box. You can really go into different capabilities for what you want the agent to do. Now, another kind of piece on the security part, Bobby, is we're really one of those only AI providers that offer RBAC, so rules-based access controls and really tight governance for the way that you orchestrate your agents across the platform. Connectors, we have a variety of different connectors that we can explore. You can create personality, schedules. So when you create an agent like a playbook, Natalie, that use case we talked about, maybe you want this on a weekly basis to actually go out and curate all that information around AI and just be able to create that newsletter for you. So what I was going to show you here is um, in terms of creating a playbook, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can go over here to the left-hand nav bar. You can see playbooks, your work, different projects that you're doing. We have over 140 agents already curated inside of the platform for a variety of different teams. And then you have our AI studio. So within playbooks here, you can see my own playbooks, ones that are shared with me, and a different showcase here. So one that I did as an example, just to kind of, break it down, I wanted to do an AEO and GEO readiness assessment for, as a demo example. So you can go through here. And what I did is I actually just said, I want to be able to do AEO and GEO readiness. And it breaks that down into a way that converts that into a playbook. What you can do here is I can run this by having these variables. So if you wanted to change, like maybe Natalie, for example, we do one that is like, hey, AI news within this specific vertical or this specific company. You can get as granular as you want and really create any specifics that you want for this. You can leverage any files, knowledge graph, connectors, triggers. So you can actually, with MCP connectors, I can send maybe account updates into a Slack channel. I can have this curate an email newsletter for me. And in this specific example, I had it do really an AEO and GEO readiness assessment and create that into a presentation of all those findings and what I can do to implement my current analysis. So there is so much that I'm really just scratching the surface here. So whether you want to create, an interactive project management dashboard with all the stuff you have going on with your clients, whether that's, a newsletter of your investor reports, we work with so many wonderful businesses that have really been able to have that catalyst. I know that that was really probably just a teaser in 10, 15 minutes, but happy to open up the floor if you have any questions there.
Yeah, I know that you've only got a couple minutes that you're able to stay with us, and we have, Beth Grimm is a governance, Marianne Newsom is cybersecurity. So I want to open it up and make sure that our experts, if you've got any questions on what you saw today, and obviously Bobby's also running several businesses and doing this as well. But Beth, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do actually, because I've been looking into and thinking about from a governance perspective, agents, and particularly building bespoke agents. So whether you do it in-house or through a platform, whatever. And when it comes to prompts and these agents, how do you protect against prompt injection? Because when you were saying about the prompt optimization button that you have, how do you protect against those prompt injections that, could get in there and cause problems
Do you mean
in your
like,
with your agent?
and maybe give me a more granular example, like a prompt injection, like something, the LLM input that you don't necessarily want to apply?
Yes. So yeah, or some kind of, uh, weird phrasing or something that a hacker could use to infiltrate the LLM and then, cause your agent to do things that you wouldn't want it to do. So yeah.
So I think a very important like how to differentiate writer, from the masses is that this is entirely contained within an organization. This is not, you have granular level permissions. Like when I showed you the capabilities under the hood for what the agent can do, you have those controls to understand. And even from a deeper level as well. Within our AI studio, this is all governed within an IT panel. So if you had specific guardrails, like say you're an AWS shop and you want all those guardrails distilled within the platform, I'm giving you quite the crash course here, but whether it's specific models, your observability, your admin settings, your knowledge and connectors and tools, you can oversee all of that. And inside of the platform as well, like for example, when I wanted to create a playbook, I'm going to show you here. Create a playbook on an AI newsletter that I can summarize to my clients. This is like the most basic simple phrase, right? So it's not a whole lot of instruction. And say I wanted to turn that into a playbook, it actually goes down and says, hey, is this basically what you're looking for? And really transforms that natural language into something that an LLM can use. You still oversee all of this, Beth. And if there's pieces in here where you're like, that's actually not what I want, or maybe I want to change this specific prompt, tell me what you want to change. Remove it entirely. There is nothing that goes on without your permission within this agent layer. All right, thank
Amazing.
you. You're
Well,
so
I know
welcome.
I know you have to go, Chelsea, but I really appreciate it. We may have questions for you as we talk amongst ourselves, and we may bring you back. So,
Well, thank you so much for letting me crash
yeah,
your office
thank
hours. It
you.
was wonderful to meet you all.
No, thank you.
Happy International Women's Day and
Yes,
lovely to see such a
thank
great
you.
group of ladies
Thank you.
together. So
Thank you
thank you so
so
much.
much. Have a
Have a
great
great day.
afternoon. Thanks. Bye.